Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Backstage Spotlight. Today we have with us the lovely, lovely Hermione Lynch. Hello.
Hello, guys. Yeah, my name's Hermione, and I'm an actress.
And me and Hermione met about 12 years ago.
Yeah, probably it's flashed by, but yeah, 12 years ago now.
I did my
In the
first
same.
ever panto at the York Theatre Royal, and Hermione was a goose.
Yeah, starring role as the goose. It's
So,
my
do you
claim
want
to
to
fame.
say like what you're doing at the moment or what you've just recently done?
Yeah, of course. So I studied at a Guildford School of Acting, oh gosh, quite a long time ago now, and then did a bit of theatre in London and a couple of musicals, and then I moved to Los Angeles 8 years ago, and ever since have been pursuing a TV and film career there, and have most recently just gotten into writing and writing TV shows. So lots going on, but yeah, that's a little bit about
Yeah.
me.
When you were younger, when did you realize that it's something you wanted to pursue as a career?
Oh my gosh, I think straight out of the womb, really. I was born into a family of artists. My dad is an actor, and I think I grew up watching him all around, performing in lots of plays up and down the country, and just fell in love with it. I can't really remember ever wanting to do anything else. It's just always been innately who I am. And yeah, I really never, and lots of people who I meet in the industry, they had something else that they were pursuing, or they had a different option or options. But for me, it was no, it was never a question really. I was destined for this hard career from the beginning.
Yeah, and it is
But
so hard.
it really is, but it's honestly the when you're doing it, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, when you're doing it, it's the most gratifying, wonderful, exhilarating feeling, and I don't think anything else really compares. So it's hard, but it's worth it when it happens.
For sure. At what point did you go to Guildford? What was your application process like for colleges?
For colleges, so I did 1 year. I didn't apply to Guildford my first year auditioning,
Oh,
because it was so close to where I grew up in Hazelmere, which is about 15 minutes away from Guildford by car, 15-20 minutes. And I always had in my head, even though London's not that much further away, I always had in my head that I would go to London and kind of flee the nest and move a little bit further away from home. My first year auditioning, I really was so keen to go so quickly, and I think it's really important for musical theatre. I think you tend to be younger, but for acting, um, if you don't get in on your first year, don't worry,
mm,
because it's so much of it depends on your personality, who you are, and drama schools tend to take people quite a bit older actually, and but I was so keen to go, so I didn't get into my top choices on the first year round, and then I took a gap year. I didn't go traveling like the rest of my friends. I knuckled down and worked at Ha Ha Bar and Grill in Guildford, endless shifts to try and save up to go to drama school and to really be able to afford to live in London or wherever it took me. I got into a couple of schools on my first year, but it didn't feel quite right. So then my second year trying, I've always danced since I was 3 years old, and my dance teacher was teaching at GSA. And she said, would you come and be part of this half GSA, half our dance school? And we're going to collaborate and do a dance group together, and we'll have rehearsals at GSA. And I thought, yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. And so I would go and have every Thursday, we'd have this group called OTT. And I just fell in love with the building. I fell in love with the school, everything I heard about it from the students, and the actors and the musical theatres had a really good relationship. And that was really important to me at the time, because as much as acting has always been my passion, to do as a career, I also loved dance and I loved musical theatre as well. So I wanted something that would merge the two. And what I heard was that on the acting course at GSA, you can also find the time to run and do a jazz class if you have a break, or you can
Nice.
join and use those if you want to. So I kind of saw that as an opportunity to use all of the things that to all of my hobbies and what I put so much effort into, and be able to do it all. So then I applied at GSA really late, actually, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna get an audition because I'm too late with the process." But luckily, I got in there right at the last minute, and then I got in, and I just thought, maybe it's just meant to be that I go here, and it's yeah, that's how I got into GSA. A long-winded answer of getting into GSA.
A good story though. And how were your years at college?
Ah, the best. I think I had the most incredible year group who I am still very, very close to, and I just had the best time. I think it has its ups and downs, obviously. It's you know, you're all so, you want it so badly, and you're all so excited, and you have all these things that you want to prove, and but at the same time, it was my first experience of being around a group of people who all love the same thing that I love, and that was a game changer for me, because at school I was kind of always the one going, "Oh, can we put on this play?" Or can everyone come and have a dance with me?" or stuff. And I think my friends probably found it rather annoying at school. But at GSA, everyone wanted to do that. You know, at lunchtime there were extra dance classes or whatever. You'd always be, and you all just had that common interest. And that was such a, I'm sure you find that too. Like, you're suddenly around everyone who shares the same passion as you. And it's really exciting. And then, yeah, you just have, I mean, you're acting every day, you're dancing every day, you're knackered.
Yeah.
But I look back at that time with nothing but really, really fond memories. So yeah, and then that's not the experience for everyone, I'm sure. But me personally, it was, yeah, it was terrific. I absolutely loved it.
What is the most memorable memory you have of college?
Oh my gosh. For good or for bad reasons. I remember I remember yeah, no, I do know. My best memory was the first public performance that we did in second year, and I got cast as the lead, and it was with a brilliant director who was one of our really, really brilliant teachers. And I just felt so lucky. I actually didn't think he liked me that much at the time. I remember, because I'm
Oh.
such a, I always think people, I'm always a bit worried about what people think of me, or am I doing enough, or am I doing this? And then he cast me as that lead role, and I remember feeling so happy that I was going to have this chance, and I was scared, but it was such a challenge. And the play was 6 degrees of separation, and she was, I mean, she's meant to be in her 50s, this woman, but it was the most wonderful part. And I just, that performance and that whole process was the first time I really felt like, oh wow, like this is, yeah, I think I just saw my whole future kind of flash in front of my eyes, and it just felt really, it was just a really, really wonderful, however long that was, 4 weeks of rehearsal. And the first time my parents got to come and watch, and the first time the rest of the school got to come and watch. And I think it just felt like a, oh, kind of a coming of age in a way. It was really, really great. And then another memorable time was when I didn't do so well, and it was in comedy. We had another fantastic teacher who was renowned for being pretty brutal, but he could turn anything. You did something, and then he'd make it 10 times funnier in front of the rest of the class. And we were doing clowning as a module, and I just remember failing at it so badly, because I think I was just trying to be funny so much that it really didn't work, and it was that mortifying. I think most of the class had the same experience, um, where you just, you know, you're failing. You're standing there in front of people, and you know that you're just absolutely tanking it, and there's nothing you can do about it but learn and move on. And So yeah, those are two very memorable experiences for me.
They're great. It can be so hard when you're in drama school because one, the fact that like you're so encapsulated in this drama school bubble that you forget like why you're there. And then two, like what other people are thinking of you. You just have to like absolutely scrap that and do it full effort so that you get the best out of the experience.
Yeah, it's so and it's such a fine line. I think I even find that now performing, you think you're so aware of yourself. And I recently just had to watch myself in in a film for the first
Oh,
time, which was very exciting, but also like you're watching yourself on screen for an hour and a half, it's really daunting, and you don't really until you're there doing it. I've always thought, "Oh, I can watch myself tapes, I'm fine." Like, I'm quite good at being, critical, but not too torn apart by watching myself. And then I watched that, and I just, oh my god, every single thing. I was like, but eh, actors are actors. We're all performers. We all want to be the best we can possibly be. So I think it's the same. It never changes. There's this, you are in this bubble, and you do care about what other people think, and you care about what the audience thinks, but then at the end of the day you really have to then fight that, exactly how you said, and just go, you know what, you're never going to please everyone because it's so subjective, and you've just got to separate those two things, which is easier said than done, but I think you learn more and more how to do it, how
yeah,
to
for
calm
sure.
yourself.
If you had some advice for someone that was applying for colleges or that is in their 3 years of training, and something that you would have liked to tell yourself when you were in that position, what would it be?
Oh, mainly to not not give up if it doesn't happen as quickly as you think or hope it's going to happen. I think that's a really key thing to hold on to, because when you're in drama school, you're doing it 100% of the time, and and you think, wow, like I'm going to go out there and I'm just going to keep doing it, and for a lot of people, absolutely. And if I hope everyone had that experience. I hope everyone just left drama school and went straight into a production and loved their lives for the rest of time. But I think a good thing to know is that just because it doesn't happen, or if you see other people it happening to straight away, don't let that. Everyone's on their own path. And I think that is the best thing you can take forward in this industry, because it is so hard. Everyone is on their own path, and just stay in your lane and know that when it's supposed to happen, it will happen. And you have to trust that and just work hard, keep the mentality you have at drama school and musical theatre school and any performing arts college, and keep that mentality going, but don't lose the faith just because you see it happening for other people, or you see it happening much quicker. For me, like I didn't get a really good team of agents until 2018. Like, and that was what, 5 years ago, and I graduated drama school 10 years ago now. So I think I had other agents, and they were wonderful in their own way, but they weren't right for me. And they didn't get me in the doors and in the rooms that I really wanted to be in. And it took a lot of hard work, and it took a lot of self belief and courage. And I think that's just if I could have told myself that, I think she would have, I think if I could have given myself a hug and said, hang in there, girl, it's going to happen, then I would have felt a lot more comforted when I saw it happening for other people. And you have those moments of thinking, oh gosh, is it ever going to happen for me? And all these things. And I think that's the best advice I could possibly give, is just to know that, just trust in the process, trust that it will happen when it's supposed to happen.
Yeah, and I think it's so hard when you're in college and everyone does start getting jobs and you start to compare, but
Mm.
you're like blindsided by that and you're not thinking about like your personal attributes and what makes you bookable for a job. And it's completely different to what they're bookable for. And you just have to like
Mhm.
take a step back and think, oh, I'm still on the right tracks, like I will get there eventually. it's just a matter of time, like as exactly what you said. I think that's really important.
Yeah, no, it really is. And it's hard. It's really hard because it's your passion, it's really hard to do that. But I think if you can master that, you can you can be a lot more positive and a lot happier in this career.
Yeah. And going back to agents, what would be your best advice when approaching agents to be on their books? Because this is something that colleges do help you with, but it is hard for graduates to approach that stage of finding an agent.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's I'm trying to think back now to when we had our first, I can't even remember what it was called, but it had a specific name where all these agents, a lot of agents came and what I know the
Yeah.
showcase, but we had something else apart from a showcase and I can't remember what it was called. Um, I remember being so, as well again, and this all ties into my last answer. I remember that meaning so much, like, who I sign with out of college, that's going to predict my whole career, and and it all depends on this moment. And it's not to say to not, put a lot of effort into it, of course, and that's always go ahead with the mentality of working hard and being the best you can be in that moment. However, I am sure so many people will tell you that they have been through so many different agents or have been with different, not maybe so many, but 3 agents or 2 agents, or some people would have stayed with the same one. But many, many, many times you'll find people change. And that's because you figure out what you want as well. I think when you leave drama school, you're so concerned with what they want and not really what you want. And I think as you move forward in the industry, you then start to go, oh, well, actually, what kind of projects do I want to be up for, and um how can that agent best serve me, and is that agent right for me, am I right for that agent? It's a two-way street and you work as a partnership, and I think that's really important to remember approaching agents wise. Yeah, emailing, all these things that you can do. I think if you have things that, if you can create your own things as well, never hesitate to do that. I think I got my really, really great set of agents through recording my own self tapes and sending them. So you never know. I think people tell you lots of different things, or don't email, or make sure you have this if you want, if send, make sure you have a show reel, or this. But I think honestly as well, it just depends on being like emailing the right person at the right time or meeting the right person at the right time. And I think doing your research is really important. I think knowing who is who in the industry, not to a fine tea, but um, having a basic understanding of who is who, especially the people that you are after or that you would envision yourself with, and then going for it and not holding back and just being really proud of who you are and what you have to offer. And I would say, yeah, finding the right connection for you is very important.
Yeah. The two-way thing is so important to know, because when you are first looking for agents, I feel like people forget that they're working for you as much as you're getting them like income. So
Yeah.
not forgetting that is really crucial when looking for agents, I think.
And it's so intimidating. I think you're thrust out into the world, and you just want someone to go, I want her, or like I want them, like that. Then that's you. It's so natural to feel like that. But I think it's just important to know that like you said, they're working for you as much as you're working for them, and to have that equal understanding is really important and empowering. um and that's a really good kind of mentality to move forward with.
For sure. When you did the panto in York, where did that come after your training or in the middle of your training?
Oh my goodness. So before I was with you on that stage, I did it when I was 18. I did it the year
Yes.
before I went to drama school. So I yeah, that was much down to my dance training, which I loved my whole life. And I really wanted to do it. My dad plays the villain, and but I couldn't just get in. I had to go and audition. I remember being really, really scared because I was in a room full of everyone from Lane, everyone from Arts Ed, everyone, and I remember thinking, "Oh my God, I've not even been to college yet or done anything." But I was at the height of my dancing because I'd started doing the dance group at GSA and
Mhm.
had always danced, but I was really I kind of reached a different level with dance at that point and was doing lots of partner work and things like that. And I think it really prepared me to do that, to do the panto. Um, but yeah, so I did that the year before I got into GSA, and then I did my second panto, which would have been with you. Um, oh, the year after I moved to LA. So I moved to LA and then I came back to do the panto because I
Wow.
missed the stage. I really wanted to just come home and spend Christmas, and well, I mean, what better way to come home and spend the Christmas period because everything in LA kind of shuts down after Thanksgiving. So it's 20 like late November, and then it doesn't really open until January. So I thought,
Mm.
what better way to go home and earn some money doing what I love with the people I love. And then I got to graduate and play the fairy and the goose. The
And the
goose.
goose.
And the goose. So that, yeah, it was great. It was the best, and that panto is, as you know, very, very special. So
Yeah. What is panto for you?
oh, gosh, everything. I mean, I've had a really extraordinary experience with panto because the York Theatre Royal Panto is somewhat of a legacy, and I feel very, very privileged to have I've had that since I was born. I think I was breastfed in the box of that theatre as a baby, watching my dad. And then I went on and that was my first professional job. So it means everything to me. I think pantomime is such a quintessentially British, wonderful medium of theatre. And I think it's also kind of a rite of passage for performers. I think a lot of people, I think Gary Oldman started in the York Theatre Royal Panto, which is
Wow.
insane. He's one of the best actors around, and he had his, I think he played the cat in Dick Whittington. So you just think it's kind of it is like a rite of passage, and it's so much fun, that buzz of Christmas happening, and everyone's just excited and up for a laugh. And but yeah, I've been truly blessed with having that in my family, and being able to perform in that show has meant everything to me.
Yeah, it really is great. When you moved to LA, is that when you started doing your TV work, or had you already done TV stuff over in the UK?
No, I always thought it would be theatre, theatre, theatre for me, always. I never really even I just didn't think I was right for TV and film. I don't know why. I just thought I was very theatrical and very born for the stage, maybe because of my dad, or I don't really know. And I still love theatre. I would really like to get into theatre again. But my mum is American. So I had a passport which made it very easy for me to go and move there, which, and I know
Yeah.
how lucky I am to have. So I thought I got, oh, this is a good story. I got down to the last three to play one of the leads in The Railway Children in London. And I really wanted it. I'd had quite a bad year. I'd gone through a bit of bad breakup, and I
Oh.
remember feeling like, oh, if I could just get like a brilliant job that would be everything to me, and it would make
Yeah.
everything better, which you should never ever do. And then I got really, really far for this, down to the last three, and I thought, okay, this is going to change everything. My year's going to be great. I'm going to be on the West End doing this play, and it's going to be brilliant. And then I didn't get it. And I remember waking up to this email, lovely email from the director, just saying they'd just gone in a different direction with the part, and all three of us were very different. And I remember crying my eyes out. I was so sad. And my dad also was in London for an audition, and I called him and said I didn't get it. And he said, I'm gonna come round, we're gonna have a cup of tea, it's okay. So then he came round to I was living in Vauxhall at the time with two other girls, best flat ever. That was so much fun. And he came over, and I remember we just sat on my bed and I was crying. I said, maybe I'm just not good enough. Like, I can't do it. And he said, no, I would have told you a long time ago if you weren't good enough. Brutally honest. And he said, what do you want to do? And I said, I really think I want to move to LA. And he said, well, then you should absolutely do it. And I thought, yeah, you're right. Like, maybe I should just do it. And then 3 months later, I did it. It was
Wow.
kind of, I was working at Sophie Steakhouse in London, which at the time was right in the heart of Covent Garden, and was the theatre rush. I loved working there. It's probably my favorite waitressing job I've ever done, and I've done many. Um, and I just saved up my money and I moved 3 months later, and I was nervous and scared, but also I just thought if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. And I
Mm.
went and did it. 8 years later, yeah, I was there for 8 years, which is great.
Wow, what an amazing decision. And it just shows that like your life can go in whatever direction and you just can't really predict it.
No, yeah, it really can't. I just think if you have that kind of gut feeling of going for something, or just trust it. And I think a really important thing to know is that it doesn't have to stay. Like, it never is signing a contract that you can't come back,
Yeah.
come back. You want to go and explore something, it doesn't mean forever, it just, you can go and see what happens. And I ended up going to this incredible acting class out there. And I think that's a really different thing in America compared to England is so drama school focused, and they do have the drama schools out there, but a lot of people are just in weekly class. So it's really interesting because I've never really thought of that. I just thought you graduate drama school and then
Mm.
you, especially as an actor, dance obviously is a bit different because you carry on that and go to Pineapple and all this stuff. But acting wise, I never really heard of that much. And yeah, that acting class changed my life. And I thought, I didn't think I'd learn everything I needed to know. And you always are learning. But yeah, that was, you just never know what you're going to find. And that completely changed my life. I met the person who recommended me to agents in there, and it just, yeah, it was a complete game changer. So you just never know what life is going to bring you.
Yeah, amazing. Having done both stage and TV, what do you think the comparison is like? Which do you prefer?
Oh my gosh. Someone asked me this the other day. I don't think there's any feeling like live theatre. I think
That's
that
true.
is something that is just so raw and exciting, and the feeling that anything could happen and it's different every night, and that is an extraordinary feeling that I don't think anything truly, truly compares to. However, what I love about TV is it's almost like choreography. And I only realized this on my first job because the cameras, it's like you are, it sounds really cheesy, but I don't mean it to be cheesy. It's like you're dancing with the camera in a way, because
Yeah.
it's yeah, a lot of circumstances you start really wide and the cameras are, and then they just go dum, 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 and they get closer to you, and sometimes you're acting with someone opposite you and the camera's here, like, so you have to really maneuver like your head, you're thinking of so many different things at once.
Yeah.
But what I realized in doing that is that my weirdly my dance training kind of came into it, and it helps because
Yeah.
you're spatially aware of what's going on around you. And it was really fascinating. And then when you learn to do that, you kind of forget that they're there in a way, because it's smooth, and then you get to play around, and that's a whole another element of excitement to me. And yeah, I think they're both vastly different, so it's really hard because I really love both. But if I had to say what feeling was the most exhilarating, I think I would say standing in the wings and going on stage, for sure.
Yeah. Both are so fascinating. And about TV, I just think that it's a whole new world for people who train in like live theatre, more
Mm.
like an instant audience reaction. Is so different to doing like taping for so long and then finally getting the result when it's all mashed together. after so long
Yeah,
of doing that hard work. It's just two completely different ways of getting an audience reaction, but both are so thrilling at the same time.
so thrilling. And I think there's so many more parts, pieces of the puzzle for TV. I think it depends on the editing, and it depends on
Yes.
you know, a lot of times you think, oh gosh, like I did that wrong, and then the editor will come in and go boom, 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 and they make it look really good. So you know, it just it's really interesting, and remembering things like continuity, and when did I drink, when did I take a sip, and all of these things that
Yeah.
obviously can around, but it is like choreography in a way. I will say I really did notice that, which is really
Yeah.
interesting, as lots of, like, you know, just coming from a dance background, which is, I'm sure a lot of people, I do come from a dance background who are listening or anything, but I think, yeah, it's always there. I think it's a good thing to, I know a lot of people who were mainly musical theatre who have now gone into more TV and film. That's just interesting.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
What would you say is next for you? What would you like to do next?
I hope my best friend who I met out in LA, who's from Manchester, we just lived together for 5 years. We are writing partners, and we've got 3 TV shows now that we are in the process of selling. So
Wow.
hopefully, one of them is our baby, is the first one that we wrote together, and that's the one that we hope will sell first, and that we both would be in that too, which would be really, really exciting. Um, but yeah, I think that would be the dream, because we've created it, and I never thought I would, again, never thought that would be something I'd do. I always loved writing at college, but I just was so determined to make it happen as an actress and just focus on acting and all these things that I never, until the pandemic came, I never thought about, well, let's put pen to paper and create our own stuff. And I can't recommend it more, because it really is, one, so gratifying. You're not waiting for the phone to ring. You're in charge of it, and it's something that you can do. And that is so important, because I think so much of this career you feel like you're not in control. So to have that feeling of being in control of it is really powerful, and it gives you a whole other thing to talk about to people as well, which I found really, really nice, when someone asks you, oh, so what are you doing at the moment, and you don't have that moment of going, I'm doing nothing and I just really want a job. You can go, oh, well, I'm actually working on this, and exploring. It's just a really cool other string to have to your bow in whatever way that happens. So we wrote that in the pandemic, and have been writing ever since, and it's going really well. So hopefully soon that will happen, and yeah, being part of something that I've created, I think, would be the most gratifying experience ever. So yeah.
That is amazing. I wish you the best of luck with all of that, and I can't wait to see how it progresses.
Thank you. Me too. I'll keep you updated.
Oh, for sure. And lastly, if you were to invite someone out of the whole performance industry onto this podcast, and I'll try my best to reach out to them and invite them on, who would it be?
Oh my gosh. I don't. Would you mean in musical theatre, or in
Performance,
can be,
TV, entertainment industry.
honestly, I think mine would probably have to be, at the moment, someone like Florence Pugh. Though I just think
Yeah.
she's,
Wow.
yeah, yeah, there you go. She's just someone, I think, honestly, she's such a talented actor, and also just seems like such a great human being. Like, she's someone that I just love to sit down in a pub with and have a beer and have a chat, and yeah, she just seems like a lot of fun, and I just think her talent is remarkable. So yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
that would
I'll
probably be.
definitely pull a few strings for that.
Yeah, let me know, because I'll definitely be tuning into that. I'll probably come and find you. Yeah.
Oh, well, Hermione, thank you so much for talking to me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, it's absolute joy. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, good luck with everything. I can't wait to see what you do and all your successes to come. I'm really excited for you. So yeah,
Thank
keep me up to
you.
date too, please.
Of course.
Yeah.
And to everyone listening, make sure you give the podcast a 5-star review. We're also on Apple Podcasts now, so tune in there if it's easier to stream. And we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.